Did Tico just save Throne of Liberty? Let's break down the latest Tico talk and see what's going on and what's going to change. First, Amazon Games has implemented a structured approach to address fair play violations in Throne of Liberty. Their process involves analyzing the overall impact, weighing implementation speed against testing risks, and determining appropriate disciplinary actions for violators. This basically means that people will start to get punished. Is this a little bit too little too late? We will see, and we will also see how long will they actually keep up with this approach. Because to my knowledge, at least half of the player base should be permabanned for abusing all kinds of bullshit exploits and bullshit bugs. He addressed several specific issues related to Dimensional Trials exploits. There were two problems that were identified. I wouldn't call them problems, they were game-breaking exploits that gave people advantage to level up their runes. We all know what this Dimensional Trial exploit is. Some players abuse positions where they could attack bosses without taking damage, unfairly receiving rune chests from clearing higher dimensional tiers. And as compensation, non-exploiting players will receive 600 precious rune chests while maintaining normal chest earnings to Dimensional Trial tier rewards. This is kinda decent enough, but when you think about it, the people who did exploit the Dimensional Trials for these rune chests received over 1000 precious rune chests, while we only get 600 for being good boys. Is this fair? I don't know, considering that the exploiters will face warnings, they will be disqualified from end of the season rewards, and they receive permanent account marks. These players will remain temporarily on the leaderboards and they will be removed before the season concludes. But the season concludes 2099. I don't know how they haven't fixed this bug yet. So I don't know guys, you tell me, was being a good boy worth 600 precious rune chests, or was it worth better abusing the Dimensional Trial exploits, get over 1000 precious rune chests and get a warning and a permanent mark that probably isn't going to do shit. Now the second issue was regarding the extra matchmaking boxes. There was a small issue, they call it a small issue, that affected fewer than 100 players who unintentionally received approximately 20 extra matchmaking boxes each. The team plans to fix this bug without further action against these players. So this bug actually hasn't still been fixed, so it can actually potentially still be abused. And it only affected less than 100 players. I mean, these players should also get a warning and a permanent mark on their account, don't you think? I don't know, sounds a little bit sussy. Next, the Tico addressed that the team is taking action against part-time botters. These are players who legitimately play but also use macros or bots while AFK. You could see those players a lot in the swamp while farming the sharks, or in the Black Anvil farming obsidian. These players will face 3-day suspensions, disqualification from the end of the season rewards in Dimensional Trials and Arena, and permanent account marks. I don't know what AFKing in Black Anvil or Swamp has anything to do with the Dimensional Trials rewards, but I guess that's good enough for me, you know, and calling them part-time botters, like, I don't know, that's just funny to me. Then Tico also said that the team acknowledged the complexity of addressing third-party PvP cheats while avoiding penalties for legitimate players. Work continues in this area with disciplinary actions ranging from warnings to permanent bans. Personally, I haven't seen anyone get a warning or a permanent ban since the game released globally. And if they're actually gonna give permanent bans, I do believe they're gonna have to ban at least 60% of the player base. Let's be honest, maybe even more. I don't even know if anyone plays legit anymore. But we will see. We will see if anyone actually gets those warnings. I'm sure there's gonna be screenshots on Reddit, people saying that they got a warning, but we will see if people actually get any permanent bans. I don't think anyone will get permanent banned because it's really hard to detect, and I think they just said this just to make people calm down and stop complaining. But we will see, I might be wrong. Next, Arc Boss Weapon Exploit. There was a rare issue that was identified where 2 EU players exploited an extreme edge case to craft 9 Arc Boss weapons. Both of those accounts were permanently banned and all related items removed. The issue was immediately fixed with no impact on the game economy. The team did confirm that the increased number of Arc Boss weapons in the auction house is due to increased drop rates from PvE instancing during peace mode portals. I don't know if these were only 2 people. I've seen screenshots of at least 5 different people, if I'm gonna be honest. Screenshots, videos and clips of like at least 5 different people on EU. And I can imagine there were quite a few on NA, so I'm not sure if these was only 2 players that were doing it and that it was only 9 Arc Boss weapons. They have the data, they fixed the issue, they banned those players, they removed the weapons, the economy didn't really feel an impact. Is this just like a sugar-coated version of them saying that it's not that big of a deal that people make out to be? We don't know. Nobody knows. They know. It could be possible. It might not be possible. They could be lying to us. Nobody knows. The team also recognized that performance has been unstable since the Talandra release. Yeah, no shit. They're working on improvements with small adjustments during each maintenance period, focusing primarily on unexpected FPS drops and desync issues affecting combat. This will remain a priority over the coming months. So if this is starting to become a priority now, what the fuck were they doing since the global release? Like, it's been like over 6 months now, like what? Have they not been trying to improve the performance for like all of these months? That should have been a priority a long time ago, not until people started complaining massively that this is an issue. They also acknowledge that Tier 2 progression is more demanding than intended, and the team announced plans for weekly events throughout May to help players advance more quickly. These events will benefit all players while giving hardcore players opportunity to work on second gear sets or unlock gear sync slots. We'll have to see how much this actually is going to affect the gear progression, how easy it is going to be to build a second gear set. I mean, this is good, but I don't know if weekly events would actually be the play here. Why not just put the best in slot gear items into the dungeons like they are in the Korea, and also remove tier 1 drops from the dungeons, and also maybe increase the drop rates from those dungeons so people can actually get the best in slot loot while actually doing the content that they have designed, the actual PvE content that is easy and shit. Wouldn't that actually be better? It would also fix the economy, these items would be cheaper on the auction house and everyone would be happy instead of some weekly events. But I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess. And they also highlighted that the one event is called Loot Goblin Festival. Very nice. And it's starting April 24th, so in 2 days in the next maintenance. And during this week-long event, 15-minute Loot Goblin spawns will occur every 3 hours, with hundreds of Loot Goblins offering enhanced rewards including Solant, Growstones, Crystals, Morph Gear, Nebula Chests, and more. Man, this is going to be a shit show. Like, I guarantee you there's gonna be more people camping these Loot Goblins and trying to find them than there are people in like Arc Boss weapons there or in Castle Siege. The shit's gonna be packed. And also they are delaying Trait Resonance for another week. It is coming on the May 1st. And it is very player friendly changes. Trait Resonance adds an extra trait to the gear, no leveling requirement. It requires completion of a piece other traits first, so you need to have fully unlocked all 3 traits and fully upgraded them. It unlocks via Trait Resonance stones, and players can immediately select preferred trait instead of relying on random rolls. So basically, if you have your gear set fully traded and fully upgraded, you can pretty much just click the button, select a resonance trait that you want, and that's it. And finally, they ended with a note that the controller players will be able to edit their HUD starting from May 1st. I honestly didn't even know that the controller players cannot even edit their HUD. Imagine having a game that released on PlayStation, Xbox and can be played on PC with a controller 6 months in, and you still don't have the option for these players to edit their HUD. That's actually ridiculous. But anyways, yeah, let me know what you think about those changes. I do believe it's nice. Some punishing should be a little bit harsher. We'll see how they're gonna implement these new cheat detection, macro detection, script detection stuff that they implementing. Is anyone gonna get permabans? I don't know. Nobody got punished really for the exploiting dimensional trials. Overall, I don't know, Eternal Liberty saved. Maybe they're just sugarcoating it. We will see in the next few weeks what happens and what's going to change. But for now, thank you for watching, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.